So you're a small business owner, you're hiring your first employee, right? Maybe it's a contractor, maybe it's not an actual employee. A lot of times it's people you know, it's people that are related to you, right? So it's really, really hard to separate those relationships and, set those standards with people. But as a business owner, you also need to. And there's ways to do it where you're being fair, empathetic, compassionate, but also having standards in place to protect you and your business so that your business operates. Because really, everybody is there for the same goal, for the business to do well so that each individual does well, right?
Yes.
So a lot of the times it's really addressing. I have a lot of people come to me, like, especially in the beginning when we start working together, being like, this person isn't doing well in their job, their performance has been slipping. And my question is, have you talked to them about it? Have you set like the expectations on what they should be doing? And the answer is 98% of the time, no, haven't had that conversation. I'm like, they can't read your mind. Everyone has different standards, like if you say do this without any sort of guidance or clarity, I'll do it how I think it should be done. I don't know how you think it should be done because you didn't give me that information. So
Yeah.
a lot of times it's teaching them, how to manage expectations, how to communicate. Like I know you probably deal with that a lot too. Like the communication aspect is so important.
It is. It is. Actually, with what I'm doing, I actually came up with a bunch of statistics. I found a bunch of research articles regarding just communication. So
I love your statistics and your numbers. Bring them on.
see, that's what I love too. Because even though we're both very passionate about what we do and we really believe in what we do, you cannot argue with the statistics. And I mean, that too.
Absolutely.
It's data driven, right?
Yep.
You know?
Numbers don't lie.
No,
Numbers
they
don't
don't.
lie. I wish I wasn't so afraid of them.
Well, but that's okay. That's why you hire experts that aren't afraid of them, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's why I love whatever you're about to tell me.
Well, let me introduce myself here real quick. So, my name is
Yes.
yes, absolutely. I'm Melissa Robinson-Winemiller. And my big thing is dealing with empathy in leadership positions. I am an EQ via empathy coaching consultant because I feel that it is so important to the future of businesses, and especially like in the fields that you're in, but I mean, just business as a whole, to really get our leadership educated on these soft skills or power skills or durable skills, whatever you care to call them, because I really think the future of business as we know it depends on it. And I am passionate enough about it that I am doing a doctorate in it just to be able to get the
Love
extra
it.
information. I mean,
It's so powerful. And, for anyone that's listening, watching, reading this, we connected on that level of just empathy and leadership, right? It's something
yeah,
that we both really believe in, and we kind of tackle it from like different sides, I feel like, in our lines of work, but it works so well together.
yes, I could not agree more. And I have just had such an instant connection with you because of it. One of the paradigms
So
that I look at with leadership is this idea of the leader as a warrior, but not as an aggressive warrior, but more like in the Eastern cultures as a defender. And the person who is more of a servant leader, but is willing to do the hard things and make the hard decisions. And I feel like we both come at that from a warrior and defender aspect. So I think,
definitely. And by leading in empathy doesn't mean that you're like, some people think it's like you're easy, you're breezy, you're like soft, right? Like it can be some of those things, but also, if you're a leader, you need to have a business mindset as well and make some tough decisions. So
yeah,
it's about like how to operate with all of these things.
yes, it absolutely is. It's a skill and a tool, but it's a very effective one. Yeah, I could not agree more.
Absolutely.
And it's funny because you make a good point. It is a business thing. I mean, people are running a business first, and they are, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that doesn't mean you can't still lead with empathy. Ernst and
Right.
Young did a survey in 2021 post-pandemic. And I mean, Ernst and Young, right? Top 4 consulting globally. We're not talking, Pete and Bob's survey group down the street. It's
Right.
Ernst and Young. So it's kind of like, you might want to listen to this.
This
And
is right. Yeah.
right? Yeah. And so specifically they were looking at leadership, executives, and employees, and they were looking specifically at the effects of empathy within that culture. And what they actually found was that empathy was, and this is their quote, the secret sauce that makes businesses run, which is like amazing. So their
Hmm.
Steve Payne, which is the Ernst & Young America's vice chair of consulting. So again, I mean, definitely knows what he's doing.
High up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually said empathy is not only a nice to have, but the glue and accelerant for business transformation in the next era of business.
Love this next era. I'm happy to be a part of it then.
Right?
We've been waiting.
Me too. And the same study showed that by leading with empathy, the benefits of leading with empathy is that you can raise efficiency by 87%. I'm looking over at my statistics because I want to make sure I quote them right.
Yes. Read them.
Creativity by 87%, innovation at 86%, and back to what you were talking about, you are leading a business, company revenue by 81%.
It sounds like a no-brainer to me.
Right?
Why would anybody argue with that?
Right.
But also, some people might not argue with that. Some people might say, I don't know what empathy is. So here's a part of my little guilty pleasures. I love Bravo, like watching all reality shows on Bravo, and Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. One of the women on the show actually asked her therapist on TV, what is empathy? How
Yeah.
do I get empathy? She asked, how do I get empathy? And that kind of made me realize, like, there are people out there that may not understand what it is, how to, not only how to lead, but how to like practice it, feel it, provide it. So from your perspective, what is empathy?
So the definition of empathy is actually the ability to feel what another person is feeling. And there's a couple different ways to look at it. There's cognitive empathy, which means, okay, I logically get what you're feeling. I can see you're crying. I can see you're upset. And I can probably even, if I'm smart, come up and say what you need to hear, but I don't feel it. There's sympathy,
Hmm.
which says, I feel sorry for you, but I still don't really feel much. But then there's empathy, where I'm like, I feel this with you and it hurts. And I am so sorry. So that's really the crux of it, and why so many people shy away from it. Because in order to feel empathy, you're making yourself vulnerable to that other person because
Hmm.
you are open to them. And you're also probably going to be faced with some discomfort because you're going to feel what they're feeling. And that's precisely why so many people are like, no, I can't. Nope, got to be strong, got to be tough.
Can't take that on. Like,
Nope.
can't take it on. That's for you to deal with.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. So unfortunately, we do have some societal stigmas against this. But in order for me to be able to relate to you as a human being and really be on that same level, that means I have to be able to feel what you're feeling on that same level. And on the other hand, it's so incredibly beautiful when you can actually relate in that way. Now, that doesn't mean you don't still make tough decisions, but you can at least say, yeah, I get it. And wow, that just sucks.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
Yeah,
And it's like, I think that sometimes validating is just as important, right? And if some, in the workplace, if somebody's going through something, it doesn't mean that, that situation needs to necessarily take over.
right.
You can validate and then say that this is how we can move forward, or still say, I understand these are the expectations though. How can we make this work? Right? Like,
Right.
what are some things we can do? So it doesn't have to be this like, I understand, I'm empathizing, and that's it, right?
Right.
Like, now
Yes.
nothing gets done.
Right. Exactly. It has to be actionable. If it's not actionable, then I what I tell my clients is it's like having a diamond in a box, right? And you can take the empathy is this diamond, and you can take this gem and stuff it in a vault. And you know you have it, you're richer for it, but it's not doing anything. You've got to take this gem out of
Mhm.
the vault and put it to use. And that's precisely, it's a transferable skill. I mean, it's not something to be like, yep, I have empathy. No, 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 no. You use it in your decision making. You use it. Well, let's come back to communications, because
Yeah.
not having good empathic communications. This was an Inc. study. So again, I mean, it's not like it came out of Mad Magazine. They
Right.
said that by having non-empathic and unusable communication, companies lose 18% of employees' salaries week after week, year upon year. That's just a sunk cost for no reason at all. So if you're looking at an employee that has a salary of $67,000, and this is one, that means that
Yep.
you're losing $12,000 year upon year, employee upon employee, just because of the lack of empathic communication,
That's crazy.
right?
And you could be doing so much more with that money.
Exactly. Well, and it breaks down further because they figured it comes out to being like 7.4 wasted hours per week. So that's like saying, hey, everybody, take every Friday off. Come in for a half an hour, get a Danish and leave.
Right. Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. When you put it that way, it really seems impactful to a business and the work
Right.
being done.
Well, and like with your work, how often have you seen bad communication be the thing that scuttles all of the best of intentions?
Every day. Every day in some capacity.